New Zealand's move to consider officially recognising a Palestinian state sparked fiery scenes in Parliament. This resulted in Greens co-leader Chloe Swarbrick getting kicked out of the House. The coalition government's facing mounting pressure and accusations that it's acting too slow after announcing it won't make a decision on Palestinian statehood until next month. Australia and others have already decided to back
Chewie, that what you just said, kind of slightly in jest, tongue-in-cheek, is why? Why does this take a month? Like why does this take a month to do?
Well, Winston Peters said today that that we're extending talks to Turkey, Malaysia, a handful of other countries, and I just want to go, why?
Yeah.
Why? Like, by all means, talk to those countries. I think the thing that united all of those countries together is they're majority Muslim countries. But my whole issue is, what does their opinion have to do with New Zealand deciding to do something?
It does feel a
like
bit like
it's part and parcel with maybe the whole thing, but the best time to recognise Palestine was fucking months, years ago, decades ago.
Yeah. It does feel like we talked about this last night, and Chewie, this is I think you said this first, so for your credit, just before I push play again, is it does feel like that idea that you don't do human rights via referendum, and us kind of going, I wonder what they think. I wonder what they think is basically a form of governmental referendum amongst other governments. We'll keep going on the story.
the move. We begin with senior political reporter Benedict Collins.
Tens of thousands of Palestinians have been killed as war rages on in Gaza, with food and aid still restricted by Israel. Other nations like Australia are moving to recognise the state of Palestine, hoping it will bring about peace. We're now weighing it up too.
It's not a race. It's actually about the complexity of the issue is a serious one. It deserves a serious...
I don't know. It might be a race, Luxon. It might be a race.
If you're the last to get on board the human rights acknowledgement, and if you're the last to get on board with saying, oh, yeah, this is a genocide, you know, it is, you know, you're wrong, actually. The slow and steady does not win this race. This race is finished, and you need to identify that it's finished.
Weighing up of our position.
Gazans can't eat empty statements. People are currently being mercilessly slaughtered and starved to death.
There are accusations our government is dragging its heels.
It would appear the dysfunctional relationship between David Seymour and Winston Peters is the thing blocking that at the moment is an international embarrassment for New Zealand.
Chris Hipkins doesn't know what's happening in Cabinet because he got voted out of government for being useless.
Some worry recognising Palestine could be seen as rewarding Hamas for the October 7 attack on Israel 2 years ago.
That's the question. Who are you recognising as it currently exists? You'd be making friends with terrorists.
The opposition grilled
what
the Prime
a
Minister.
prick.
Do we start to bring up definition of terrorism and then link it back to what Israel's doing at the moment? Like, is this the time to now go, what is terrorism? I did this once, I remember, because it was the Iraqi war, when I was doing Talkback, and we were talking about terrorism, and I said, it was after 9/11, and I said on my show, I said, what country is causing more terror on the face? What country is causing the most terror on the face of the planet today? Does that therefore mean the ones causing the most terror are the biggest terrorists, which of course was America with their bombing schedule at that time, but it kind of feels the same. So when are we going to list out what things make up a terrorist group and then line that up against what Israel's doing to see if they, and I say this to kind of make the point rather than say, I don't need to be convinced, and then see if they line up to be tick, tick, tick on the terrorist boxes. You know what I'm saying? Actually, Jack, do you want to say anything to that? We'll cut you out between these little chats.
Oh, no, I couldn't agree more. You know, let's not talk about terrorism unless we're talking about the full picture. But, you know, what I would also say is that, you know, I mean, I'm sure we'll talk about it more soon, but like we were actually been much more than a slow follower because, you know, we should have recognized Palestine as a state years ago. You know, over 75% of UN member states recognized Palestine as a state. A huge chunk of that was in the 80s and early 90s. And it's really only, you know, European and Anglosphere states that are dragging their heels. And it's, you know, pretty despicable that we're a part of that cohort.
Yeah, very true.
We'll keep going with the story.
Minister.
Is the Prime Minister finally willing to say that Israel's slaughter and starvation...
Chewie, I found a little highlight for you. Do you want to see, and it's not going to come right now, but this image speaks to it a little bit. Would you like me to show you today David Seymour being an absolute little bitch? Because I've got something that I can show you a bit later on. Would you like to see that a bit later on?
Yeah, I would. It could be almost any clip from any time. You haven't narrowed it down at all, but
the reason
I'll
it relates, the reason it relates to this has got to do with the a terrorist scarf in the background there. But I'll show you the picture first, and we'll come back to it. We'll come back to it.
...of Palestinians in Gaza is a genocide.
What I know is that there's a humanitarian catastrophe happening in the Middle East. What I know is that we want to see peace and stability and security reign in the Middle East. And for that to happen, Hamas must release hostages immediately.
What will be left to protect in a month's time if the Prime Minister waits until September to act, with the Israel government approving further escalation in Gaza?
I would just say to the member, there are strongly held views on all sides of this debate across the whole of New Zealand.
Good guys on both sides. Oh, there's
both sides to it.
There's good people on both sides, you know.
There was an urgent parliamentary debate.
We are being left behind. New Zealand is being left behind on the international stage.
This is not straightforward or a clear-cut issue.
It is.
Some of our partners are in favour of
it. It is, actually. This is the thing. Like, there was a interview last week. Mehdi Hassan was in a debate, and the guy who was debating said something like, well, it's not black and white. And Mehdi Hassan just went, well, actually, sorry, genocide is pretty black and white. It is a black and white issue. So sorry, Uncle Winnie. It is. It's not difficult. It's not a complex issue. It is that superpower bombing into oblivion that area who can't fight back. That's as really as simple as that.
Listen, others are not. We are not going to listen to scaremongers who couldn't even raise...
I just don't mean to interrupt the member, but I've had enough of that.
A fed-up Labour MP getting the boot from the House. Chloe Swarbrick soon followed. She urged the government to adopt a Green Bill to sanction Israel.
If we find 6 of 68 government MPs with a spine, we can stand on the right side of history.
That is completely unacceptable to make that statement.
Why?
Withdraw it and apologise.
No.
Then leave the House for the rest of the week.
Happily.
Walking out in protest, then copping a serve.
And it's excruciating to watch Hamas propaganda being bandied around this house by those who should know better.